Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Stick Time with Matt and Dave. I'm Matt Nowakowski.
And I'm Dave Connor. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We've got a show for you tonight.
Yeah, dude, I'm excited about this one.
Me too. We're going to be talking about freestyle and racing. And yes, we'll dive in. And we're going to take it from a very objective view. And, you know, you kind of know me and Matt's backgrounds, but we have a very special guest joining us on the show today.
This is what I'm excited for, man. My dude, Scott.
What's happening, you guys out there in the FPV world?
He goes by Heisenberg, right?
Yeah, everybody knows me. They know who I am.
Heisenberg to the line, that's what people say.
Yes, sir. Paul started that.
Yeah, Paul, our local QRGO guy, you heard him in a past episode. Scott, just give us a brief intro. How did you get into drones? How did you get into FPV racing?
I got into drones by flying a plane one time, right into the ground. So then after that, I put it together, sold it, bought a Cyma. I played with this Cyma off
Which
my
Cyma?
Which one was it?
We talked about it in the past. The one you can get off like
yeah, it's like the $50 Cyma.
The X5 or the X?
Yes,
Yeah, the X5. Yes.
The X5, because I got the X8. That's where that was my first
I had the
multi-copter.
X8 too.
Yeah, that was
Yes,
the first
sir.
multi-copter I bought. So, like I recommend that too. Anybody who wants to check
Yes,
stuff out
to
now.
start off.
I don't know. There are some tiny whoop builds that are really affordable and then easily upgradable if you want to stick with it. And they're a little bit more exciting. They have acro mode in them, but those were just fine to get started. So, what year did you say that you picked that up?
What did we do? 2015, end of 2015. We started end of 2015.
Yep, 2015.
Me and this guy in a garage over here.
Yep.
So you guys go way back.
We're OG.
We're OGs.
We're OG CQS there, man. Like, it was me, Scott, and Rob.
Yeah.
We're the three OG. And I used to go over to this guy's house like every day, like and hang in the garage.
She was like, "Is he coming over again?" Yep, he's on his way, babe. He's on his way.
Yeah, it was literally every day. And I remember when he got that Cyma, it was crazy because I think it was Rob he offered. He was like,
Yep.
Rob, I got this Striker airplane. You got 30 seconds to trade me for that. And the Striker was like $100, dude.
Yes.
And this thing was like 40.
Yes.
And Scott was like 30 seconds.
And then I went 17, 16. I just jumped straight to 17. And Rob's like, "Dude, you're killing me." He handed it over, though. He wanted that Striker.
Yep.
He got that Striker off me, and next thing you know, it was never look back after that.
Dude.
It was never look back after
And
that.
so then when did you make, or I guess how soon did you make the jump to racing quads? Because I know some guys kind of jump right into it when they're like, man, I want to see that. And what spurred you? That was just it? You didn't see any like drone videos? How did you get into the FPV side of things?
I didn't see no drone racing. None. Matt brought, when they had the planes over there, me and Matt went to an event. And when we went to this event, Ready Made RC, right?
Oh, yeah. That was our first FPV event. I've talked about it in the getting to know me and Dave a little bit. We went to FPV Fest.
Yes.
That was at Willard, Ohio.
Yes.
2015.
Yes.
Ready-made RC.
And what kills me is this guy buys Fat Sharks and he buys a SpeedX 250.
Was that when it was a payday?
Yeah, no, I bought the Fat Sharks after. The SpeedX I bought probably there. It was
Yes.
that or the Air Show right after that.
Yes.
One of the two.
Yes.
So then this guy's out here. Now think about this, you guys. This guy's out here. He's got the goggles on. I seen what it looked like him flying through it. He's in my field next to my house. He's flying. And for some odd reason, things that fly at you like a magnet you want. And I don't know why. My dude was out here flying first time and twice, not once, you guys, twice. This dude, it's flying great. He's doing a great job. All of a sudden, it gets away from him for a second. But for some reason, this quad flies right at him, at himself. He ducks. This quad goes down his back, right to the ground, but touched every bit of his back going.
Yeah.
Dude, he puts it back up again. He didn't give up. He just put it back up. And tell you what, the SpeedX held up on that one.
It did hold up, and it was in it was line of sight. I didn't have no FPV,
Right,
so me
right,
and Scott
yes,
would
he's
go to
right.
his field right next to him, and Scott would stand there, spot me, and I would spot him. But it was when I first started learning acro, and dude, I remember Scott was jumping out of the way, dude. It was hilarious.
Line of sight acro, those things come at you.
fast.
Really fast.
And it's not like I put like different color props on it.
No.
They were all the same color props. I was like, oh, I'm a G, I can do it.
Yeah, we didn't know nothing, dude. we didn't know nothing.
But now, like I would almost say a lot of guys that I see coming up are like barely even touch line of sight. Like,
Go straight to FPV.
Go straight to FPV. And when you go straight to FPV, you really do get that kind of, I don't know, that freedom, that feeling of freedom. So when you first got a taste of that, what happened?
Bird immersion. I didn't really get to taste until after we went to Quargo, basically, because I was flying how do you say, outside the quad. I was more worried about breaking my stuff, and them guys just talk you into, dude, become the bird, get in there.
Yeah, bird or superhero.
Yeah, do it, dude, and act like you would want to fly and see something. And that's what I did after that, and it just got better once you're in it, not standing there going, please don't break my stuff.
And I'm really glad you just said that. You said, fly to see something.
Yes.
And I feel like that's going to touch perfectly on our topic tonight of fly to see something. Where, like, racing, you're flying to hit gates, make times. Flying freestyle, you're flying to see something.
Yes.
And that's, I think, a brilliant aspect to, I mean, like, the freestyle community, like, the whole freestyle movement.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Fly to see something, and it's not your typical way of seeing things. That's what a lot of freestyle pilots enjoy, is to go through your environment in a different way you never seen it before.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I mean, I still freestyle, even though I'm mainly racer, but they kind of go hand in hand together, man.
What is the feeling like when you climb up a tree, flip over it, look down the tree, and slide down the other side? Like, whoa, it just gets you, dude.
Yeah, it lets you
sucks you in.
It lets you experience the world in such a beautiful way.
Yes.
And I mean, it takes the flying. Like, let's just dive right in, because we're going to talk about, like, kind of the flying style. We're just going to dive in. Let's just dive in right now. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of freestyle.
Yeah, let's start with freestyle.
You fly to see something. Number one, it just really looks cool.
Yes, very cool.
Definitely looks cool. And another pro would be you can basically go anywhere and do it. Yeah. Like, I mean, any park, anything. You don't have to take too much equipment.
As long as it's a no-fly zone.
Yeah, exactly. You can't fly, obviously, next to an airport. I'm not going to go freestyle an airplane or the tower. Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to go dive bomb the airport tower, control tower.
Imagine how cool that would be. Don't do it.
Yeah,
don't do it.
Don't.
Fly by.
Yeah. And pull what was his name?
Tom Cruise.
Yeah, Tom Cruise.
Yes.
But no, the cons, though, in freestyle is... I mean, is it really cons?
Well, you can't. Don't jump to cons, because I think another pro too is, like, I don't know about me, but, like, when I fly freestyle, and you guys please back me up, and I know, Scott, you've done a lot of freestyle flying. Do you break? I feel like I break more gear pushing it for racing than you would flying freestyle. Flying freestyle, though, you're flying over concrete and more, like, hazard environments, I would say.
When you fly freestyle, you fly freestyle, and you're, like you said, over concrete, over harder things. You're running through a
parking garages,
parking garage.
Yeah.
The only thing about freestyle is that you hit harder because you're trying to pull it off. The sport of racing them, your quad will tumble and roll, and you're probably not really going to hurt nothing.
But I mean, do you think you're going? I mean, I feel like freestyle pilots go a lot slower than we do racing.
It depends on the freestyle.
Yes, it does depend on the freestyle guy.
This is where, like,
the different styles.
If you're Maddie Stunts, dude, you got that 60-degree camera angle. You're cooking through stuff.
Oh my god!
There's no other way to do it. I mean, I guess that's true, but I don't want to get. Well, we're going to talk about the different styles here coming up. Let's talk more about the cons. We jump back into it. The cons are it's hard to find a community.
Yeah,
we've heard that from a lot of people.
Yes, we have. It's hard to meet up with your local freestyle guys compared to if you went to a race event. Like, you got to actually search people out online.
It's a lot online. I would say more than in real life, and where online drone racing crosses that over. There is a good online community, but there's also a good offline community of people who actually, that's the best way to meet guys, because everybody's, like, the people who are serious about it are showing up to that event.
Yeah, and a big thing that CQS did, the reason we started CQS, there wasn't too much in person, like, going around Cleveland and finding these dudes to fly with. There wasn't anything
Yeah,
centralized.
Everything was far away from me.
Correct.
No, and I mean,
Everybody was far away. We couldn't get nobody to fly with, but when you throw it out there, you find these guys.
I also find that every single conversation we ever have about drones always comes back to community.
Yeah.
It is.
Always does. And you guys talking about like the community, so like that could be a very large con for freestyle, because it's something that I think I'm very grateful for finding you guys and having the community. I mean, because we hear it from other guys, like, you know, they're in other cities and they say, hey man, I just wish we had what you guys have. Like, you guys are just such tight group of dudes who just all hang out and have fun. Like, how, you know? And it's just, I don't know, it's a beautiful thing. But
the community's so awesome that it just sucks you in, Dave. You can't get away from it.
No, you
can't. Once you meet, if you met 10 FPV pilots, 9 of them you're gonna like. There might be one oddball, but the only reason you don't like him is because he ain't talking. He's the quiet guy. But he'll warm up to you.
But they open up. I mean,
yes.
You guys, you said you opened up K Mead, and he's one of our he's our fastest
K Mead
pilot.
was super shy when
Yeah.
I met
Oh
him.
my
But
God.
he was
super shy.
But he had enough to show up to an event, you know?
Oh, yeah.
He was confident enough in himself or his abilities, or, you know, used drone racing as the crutch to get him there. But then now look at him now, like hanging out. Like that's a big thing that the community gives to you.
No, community's huge, and just moving on from that, another con that I can think of right off the top of my head before I forget it. Dude, quads are way heavier. You have way more gear on your quads.
Ooh.
They're heavier,
But it
maybe
plants.
not.
But it plants.
So,
Believe
no,
that.
and
I
that's
don't know if that's a con though. It could be either or.
I think it's a great con, because I think also with a con, you have that you're always flying with an HD camera.
There's
And so-
$500 right there.
Exactly.
That you're gonna blow up.
You have to have insurance on it, and you have to be prepared to go back to Best Buy and, you know, just say it broke.
Yeah,
Fight your case.
if anybody's listening over the pond in UK or Europe or anything, sorry that you guys don't have Best Buy and those warranty plans.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I mean, anybody who flies freestyle, I'm sure looking at anything, you know about the warranty plan.
Yep.
But I guess that's the thing. Do you put more expensive gear on a freestyle quad because you expect it to last longer?
I think so, because you do expect it to last longer, and you gotta have that gear. I can't go buy $10 motors and expect my quad to pull out of a hole that I'm pushing it through. There's no way. Like I'm coming too hard to the ground and I gotta pull up. That's not gonna happen.
But see, and I'm Scott, I'm glad you're here. You mentioned it again, the hole. So like that's a con. When you crash, your quad might not be accessible.
No.
And so you might be climbing a roof to
Yes.
go get it. You might be climbing a tree
Yes.
to go get it. You might be climbing down a little canyon to get it.
But that's that risk versus reward kind of mentality that a lot of freestyle pilots have.
It's what makes
Is
it-
it worth the shot? Like,
Yeah.
is this trick going to be worth the shot? And they just keep pushing to get that trick. And sometimes, like you guys say, like you're going to be stuck on top of a roof, or
Yep.
you're going to be in some kind of sewer drain, or you're going to be at the top of a tree because you're doing some crazy.
Not
trick
just
over
out
it.
in a field, you know it. And then if you're stuck in a gate high up or something, like there's a poker stick to try to poke you out of it or something.
Yeah.
Like
You might
even
not see
the-
that quad again.
Even the indoor events, I know you guys got in the netting and got stuck in the netting, and that's what like really shut the race down.
No, yeah, it would definitely shut a race down, and luckily we got these pit switches that are coming out that, it's gear related, but
Almost standard on a lot of newer flight controllers coming out.
yeah, because at a race event, let's go into racing, pros and cons of racing. This is a perfect segue. At a race event, you have those pit switches, but I would say some of the pros are you're racing with a bunch of dudes. You got like 8
You're having
pilots
fun.
up always.
And I think, so you're flying with people.
Yep.
Number one. And I think that comes back to the community factor. Number two, I want to say the excitement. There's nothing like the adrenaline of like flying with other quads. And I guess it ties into your thing, but the adrenaline you get from that.
It's constant excitement, unlike freestyle is exciting at moments.
But I feel like it gets old quick.
There's definitely, if you fly the same spot over and over,
does. It
Scott
does.
flies his field next door, and I bet you're bored of it.
Oh my God, I'm so bored of it. My field, I try to break my quad really because there's so much stuff I don't do there.
But see, and that's another, I mean, I guess like any type of, and technically any quad pilot would probably agree, every time you fly your quad, you're probably going to break it. We fly them to break them.
You expect it.
Yeah.
Expect it. Don't go, oh my God, just it's broke. Go to the next one.
And that's why I build 3 of them. But
Yes,
I
he's
think
right.
that is like, We'll get to the cons, but like, yeah, braking. I definitely push the brakes.
Oh, yes.
I think for racing, the parts are cheaper.
Don't use that word. I already said last episode, don't use the word cheap, but I guess we'll try. I guess it's not cheaper, dude. They're not.
Let's say they're inexpensive.
No.
No,
I'd say it's
You
equal.
think they're the same price?
I say it's equal because the only difference I run on mine is I have KISS set up on 2 quads. My other freestyle quad is regular Betaflight. Yeah. I think it's all the same. I think it's all the same.
Versus freestyle versus racing. At least if I look at my freestyle quad versus my racing quad, maybe it's $50 cheaper. My race quad, maybe, because maybe I want that higher resolution camera instead of the cheaper camera that I can get because I know I'm gonna smash it. But they're not that far off nowadays, man. And back in the day, it used to be like a freestyle quad was $700 if you wanted a custom built one.
No, yeah, but I'm saying even like down to the frames. So like if you look at a freestyle frame, you're paying $100 for a good one.
For the top line.
brand.
You want to pay top brand for a racing frame, it's $50.
I paid $79.99 for my race quads, and
But what frame are you flying then?
The Steves, and I fly 3 Braps.
Okay, so the X Labs, the Braps, the Stees, that evolved into just Project 399.
No,
Yeah.
they split ways.
They split ways.
Yeah,
Jordan.
They're still
Jet.
friends.
Yes.
Jordan Timken and Zachary Thayer, A-Noob, they're still friends. They still fly. They do all that. They just don't live together anymore. And the Jordan Timken started the 399, Project 399. And A-Noob, which is Zachary Thayer, is still doing X Labs and the Brap and Stees and all that.
Okay, so continuing their line, because I have one and I really like it. But so those are predominantly, do you fly them now because you have the Brap and the Stees? Do you fly one for freestyle?
I do like to fly, because it's my race quad too, because I like to know what it'll do. I fly my Stees freestyle, and I love it on freestyle too. It's just a faster freestyle. It ain't slow by no means. It's not the KISS Alien built up.
It's a little bit lighter than your Alien or your Armatan.
It will roll. It just goes.
Yeah.
Because it's my race quad, and I put my GoPro Session on it. Do I worry about breaking it? Yes, but so what? Get it.
Yeah, and so the unicorn of the session. So let's get to the cons of drone racing. There's a lot of travel, I think, involved, which could be a con if you have a family life or something, which I can't make it to every event. I try to make as many as I can, and then practice as often as I can. I usually find, even if it's a half an hour a day, 45 minutes a day, to just pop out in my backyard. I'm fortunate enough to fly. But, like, practicing makes you better in anything, but if you want to be competitive, you have to practice.
Dave is bringing up a great point. A year and a half ago, I was racing fast, and I enjoyed every second of it. I ain't had time to practice, and let me tell you, these guys are whizzing by me like I'm just sitting still. And I thought I was going to come out, and you got to practice. You cannot stay away from the practicing.
Yeah, another con, though, to add to that. Great point, Scott. I agree with you.
The stick time.
Yes. Another point for a con on racing is, freestyle, you have multiple quads, but usually it's only like 2. Racing, when I see guys, they have 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. You know what I mean? So you're gonna
stacks.
Yeah. Now the freestyle quad might be a little bit more money, but you're still spending more in racing because you have double the quads.
Yeah, and sometimes complete duplicates. So if you build an expensive rig, you build another expensive rig. Mm-hmm. And so, but I do that for racing, and we've talked about that at a race where we don't want to be fiddling with soldering or swapping out a VTX or something, or troubleshooting it because it's acting up when you are out in the field. Like, you just don't want that. Just grab another quad, hang out, have a good time, and go fly.
What you said about keeping your quad, you don't want to fix it, you want to move to the next one, but nothing flies that number 1 spot, right?
No,
nothing.
That's
flies
why it's your number 1 spot.
And then so if my VTX broke on that one, I'm gonna fix it. I'm not gonna go to my second.
So you
quad.
find it a different thing. So, but that's how a lot of the freestyle guys operate, and that's probably where you get it from. Is they would rather just fix in the field to bring a little TS100 or something, a portable soldering iron. If they need to fix something, they're expecting to pound a motor or two, while you're out, in a bando. And you went out there, you don't want to waste your day. But that's why you say they have maybe 2 quads.
Yeah.
Like they have the liberty to be like, to call it a day, like, wow, I put 2 batteries in and I smashed both my quads. Maybe I just shouldn't fly today. And they pack up and go home. Where if you're at a race, you've already paid the race fees. You're already set up. You've already traveled to the race, and you have practically a science fair of quad parts laid out on a 6-foot foldable table.
Yeah.
Like you're set up in the pits. You're dedicated almost to be there all day. And I mean, I've been in that position to pack up early before, but usually I still hang out. I know there's a lot of guys who are just straight 100% done.
Well, you say, this brings me into my other con. You say hang out. You're doing a lot of hanging out at drone racing.
Yes.
So I know a lot of people that don't like this. Is you have to wait heat after heat. You got to wait, 6 heats till you get to fly again, and it's only 2-minute flight time. It's not for freestyle where you could fly five minutes and you could just keep flying pack.
What's the saying that they say, hurry up and wait?
Yeah, it's like the Army, like the military.
Yeah.
They say drone racing is the same thing, hurry up and wait.
Yes,
so if you guys ever go to an event or anything like that out there, just know you're going to be waiting.
You have to always be ready. Yeah, you have to always be ready and rush to get ready. But then once you're ready, you really just wait. Until it's your turn, you have your 2 minutes. It's like a roller coaster. You wait in line almost all day. You ride the roller coaster for 2 minutes. And then you wait in another line all day, ride the roller coaster for 2 minutes. And I mean, now I don't want to say that's bad because it varies on the event. Like if you're at an event with 100 pilots, absolutely, you're waiting 45 minutes, an hour between your packs.
But you are going to have a blast in between that
and
time.
you are, and it's beautiful. But like something like I.O. or these freestyle events even that they put on like Rampage, you fly it 60, 70 packs a day if you wanted to, pack after pack after pack after pack.
I.O. had to step its game up because they got 2 world tracks now, and they're going to run it like that from now on.
What, how many packs did Jay Chapman say you got in? 400, 600?
Oh, something like that,
Something like that.
Over the course of the
entire event.
That's impressive. And I mean, like, that's awesome because sometimes when you go to a race, it is, you might get a warm-up pack if it's an open practice before heats start. You might get 2, 3 practice heats tops. Usually it's 2 now, and then you go right into round racing. So if you don't qualify for the brackets or, if whatever the high scoring is, you get stuck. Like, you go and fly 6 packs, and that's the day. That's it. That's all you got.
Yeah.
Like, you drove an hour out to the middle of nowhere to fly 6 packs, possibly wreck your quad because you were pushing it against other people. Yes. Like that I think would play into a serious con. For some people, I mean, you have to roll with it because I think it's like anything, the risk outweighs the reward. The reward is the excitement of racing, which it's kind of like a drug. And I'm like, I mean, maybe, I have an addictive personality to some point, but
which
like,
a lot of us, I think, are.
Yeah.
If we're this far into it, like a lot of the professionals or the guys we see at events all the time.
But like there was something that just like about racing, the first time you take off, or like, even the first time I saw it when I was watching DRL on YouTube, and like you're duking it out, you're racing, like, but you're in this 3-dimensional realm, and like the track was so cool. It was the Miami Lights one.
OG.
Yeah, the OG, like it racing around the Miami Dolphin Stadium and like all the LEDs. It's beautiful, but nothing actually replicates that feeling. The fact where like your fingers are shaking,
We started and we didn't even have DRL. You're lucky.
Dude, I know.
You are lucky.
Scott, you bring that up.
We did not.
Later.
That's what I'm saying.
It was not there.
Yeah, no, you're 100% correct on that.
DRL,
Scott.
yes.
2015 when we started, it was no DRL yet.
No.
16 was the first year of it, right?
Yes, dude.
What we were watching is the Star Wars races in the forest.
Yeah,
and
we thought that was spectacular.
Or Chad Nowak in that building over in Australia,
yep.
racing over there. So
God.
like there was DRL. You're new school, dude.
I know.
I'm just joking. The funny
You're
part,
cool with it until you team up with your buddy here, your 2 OGs, and then you guys lay it on thick.
The funny part is we're only like a year apart.
Yeah, only a year.
Things happen so fast though in the world of drone racing. But just like you were saying, Scott, like that's the thing with practice is like it comes up on you quick.
Yeah, you have to practice. If you don't practice, if you all this week I got a race coming up Sunday or Saturday, and I'm like I got to work all week, and I'm too tired to go outside and grab a pack and put on, I might as well not go to that race.
But is it even worth it? I mean, to just fly a pack? Because I'll even say it like, I mean. From right here, you can see my gates that I set up gates to run gates and run gates and run gates. And that's what preps me for a race.
You know how you said you get there, you run the 6 heats. The 3rd heat, you're just getting good at the track, right?
Yeah.
So when you come home and practice, what I used to do with this guy over here, we used every battery we had. There was no, we're going to run these 3 batteries and I'm done. No, dude, it's all 15 batteries. And hopefully you're charging some up in the garage or wherever you're at while you're flying those, because you're going to need 20 packs a day to run that race Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Especially if K Mead's there. Watch out.
Dude, that's a secret goal of mine, guys. A secret tiny goal. I want to beat K-Mead and get first at a QRGO race, dude. I'm always second to this dude. And Ian had a good chance, and I would have to battle with Ian, but Ian hasn't been racing with us lately. So like, yeah, I need to find somebody to do a shake and bake.
Yes.
I need somebody to take him out so I can pull away with the win.
But wait, is that also a pro and con? Is that also a pro and con to both freestyle and racing? Then, like, with racing, you do get to wear the crown. Yeah. It is possible that you could go out and actually, like, win a trophy, whereas, like, with freestyle, I feel like the dream is much farther away. Nobody is watching YouTube videos anymore. You're not going to make it. There's already way too many people who are famous freestyle pilots.
The freestyle...
that's like being a rock star.
Well, the freestyle thing is few and far in between. I think we've had maybe 4... like events that is freestyle that you're gonna win off of.
Yeah, dude, and even those events they didn't get paid for.
No, one they got paid for. Yeah. I almost took it. Remember that?
Oh yeah, Buddy Bash.
Yes, Buddy Bash. I almost took that.
That's Buddy RC, right?
Yeah, they're Flight Bash.
Flight Bash.
I don't know if they're doing it this year, but we'll find out.
I hope so. I enjoy going there. It's a fun time.
Now, one thing I will say for freestyle is that a lot of what you learn in freestyle and the maneuvers are going to help you in racing. Yes. Whereas if you started racing, there's not that many, I mean, like, other than basic flying, nothing really crosses over to doing a little bit more of those aerobatic, like the flippy floppies.
Right. Yeah. I would say it goes vice versa. I would lean more towards freestyle helps you more in racing. But since I've been racing and freestyle, I do a little bit of both, chase quad, all that. I've found that if I freestyle, it makes my racing better. But then when I come from racing to chasing airplanes or something like that, that's where it helps me, judge turns and understand how my quad's going to handle in a hard right turn or a hard left turn.
It just helps you in that, like, stick time. But I'm glad you bring that up. Is chasing planes? Because I see, like, the movement of chasing drift cars is considered freestyle, right?
Yeah.
So, like, is chasing planes then considered a type of freestyle? I mean, there's not many people who do it. You have the liberty and
correct. I would say it's there's a third realm, more cinematic, kind of slow flying. I think drift cars and chasing planes and stuff would be in that, and it's quite difficult too. Like, people will be like, "Oh, you're just slow flying, chasing something." Dude, I gotta judge which way this plane's gonna turn. I see the front of the nose is starting to spike up. I'm going to have to climb now. Certain things like that where it's kind of difficult. But it's still kind of a freestyle in the same way, same aspect.
We need to get Dave playing some Chop, huh?
What's Chop?
Remember Chop with the banners on the plane?
Dude, I totally thought. Side note, I totally thought Scott was just telling me something off air, like trying to whisper something to me.
No.
But Chop, yes, he brings up a good point.
You take two streamers, put it on each side of the plane, each one, and you got to chop them off. Whoever gets the shorter end of the stick wins. The team against a team. You send six people up.
Six quads,
Six quads, one plane. And
6 quads, 1 wing, and you have one color ribbon on one side, one color ribbon on the other side of the wing. So red and blue, and then
You fly as teams?
You have to fly. You have to fly and cut red's ribbon, and the other people have to fly and cut blue's ribbon. And whoever's got the shortest cut or whatever, vice versa, then you're the winner.
And what footage that is, dude. It is wonderful chasing that, dude. It is.
Now, that seems like a nice like crossover between like almost racing and freestyle.
Oh, and that plane guy, he's got to be on his job too.
Now, and I mean, chasing planes, the only experience I've had, I chased a really, really fast wing, which was just impossible to keep up with, right? That's number one. Number two,
Wings are hard, dude.
yeah, it was really, really hard to keep up with because it was really fast. And pushing it with even the racing camera angle that I was set at on my quad, couldn't keep up to it. Now, the first time I chased a slow flying plane, I got really close to it, and it was a little windy, and I probably shouldn't have been that close to it. But I was trying to get really good footage because like it was right after a race, so I was already warmed up all day from flying, and the quad was feeling good. I trusted it. I knew what I was going to do, but then boom, the plane just hit a wind gust, and I just hit right in the back of it. It was just a little UMX Timber.
Yeah.
So like hitting that with foam.
Was that Aviator's plane?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I remember he was mad. He just bought that.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
I remember. Sorry, Aviator, and sorry for throwing you under the bus.
And I
again,
feel
Dave.
really bad. I actually purchased on Amazon a fuselage for him.
Did you give it to him?
No, it still hasn't come yet.
Well, he's about to
Does
know
he know
now,
about
ain't
it?
he?
Yeah, I told him. I told him it's coming.
I was gonna
The
say,
shipping-
Aviator, when you listen to this, you're gonna be like, what?
No, I told him about it, but the shipping date, because it was some weird seller on Amazon, it's definitely coming from China. It's not shipping from a U.S.
Chicken to
warehouse.
China,
There's
to
no
Chinese
way.
Chicken.
Because it says June 30th is like June or May 29th to June 30th is when it might arrive.
Oh, dude, you're getting that.
Like
thing.
they gave me a month window. Like,
Bro,
it's gonna
does-
come sometime.
does-
But
That's 3
Does
votes.
June
That's
have
3 votes.
31 days?
it was June 30th.
Does June have 31
No.
days? Oh, I was gonna say because it's coming June 31st. It's coming July 1st.
It's coming
buddy.
July 1st. Yeah.
yeah.
So like, so I don't know if I should just like try to cancel it through Amazon because like this isn't what I usually have through Amazon, and I'm a loyal Amazon customer. Just my wife, just my account alone. I don't even want to know how much I've spent on Amazon over the years because it's probably like $50,000 or something, and I'm like, oh my god, and literally that would make me throw up. But I feel like it's probably somewhere around that.
There's another episode for you. FPV spouses.
Oh, we bring it up almost every episode. If you've been listening, I
Mine's
think
is
we mentioned my
wonderful.
awesome wife. Yeah,
Yes,
I mean
mine's
my
is
wife is
awesome.
really really cool with it, and I just joke about this stuff because I know. I mean, just as like a new dad, and a husband, I know kind of like how she's gonna feel like if she just went off and started doing all these like races and stuff. But at the same time, like I feel like if she started getting into FPV, that would be cool.
Why are you saying that? Did he just whisper that in my ear?
I just whispered that. No, but I know that's like that's not gonna happen. But
I tried to get mine into it too. She don't like that flippy floppy stuff.
But coming in, I mean, we've kind of touched on it before, but the different flying styles for freestyle and the different flying styles for even kind of like racing. Racing, we all kind of get settled into a funnel where I feel like everybody starts trying to match each other. But where freestyle pilots have that kind of liberty to fly however they want, and there are definitive styles.
Yeah, I would say like every little pilot out there that does freestyle, everybody has their own little bit of flair. You got Johnny FPV, Juicy, like Scott was saying. You got Matty Stunts. He does the high upward camera tilt stuff. You got
Matty flip,
yeah, the Matty flip, all that. You have Jet and Gab diving mountains, doing that slow, long range cinematic stuff.
Like you were talking about before.
Yeah, you have Paul Nurk doing crazy squirts and a whoop stuff. So I mean, like they all have their own little.
That's something that we haven't even touched on is the Cinewhoop.
Yeah, it's just cinematic flying at smaller scale, which
But it brings it to, because I mean, like the stuff he did in that arcade, flying through
was
people's
amazing.
arms,
If you guys
playing
haven't seen
pinball
that,
and
yeah,
stuff.
definitely go check it out. Nurk's got a YouTube channel.
starting outside even, and then like looping in. That's incredible.
Dude, I want to squirt because of the stuff like that.
Yeah, but even the stuff, I saw another one where they were filming a mural or getting painted in Miami or something, and the dude came backwards down out of an alley that was like a laundromat, and the dude's carrying like dry cleaning, and like then it loops out onto the street, and there's people up, like there's this mural above like this hardware store, and it's just like a beautiful little downtown area. Like that kind of stuff brings drone racing, I feel like, more to the masses too. Like the chase footage of quads, and the chase footage of drift cars, and I mean planes, the dives, that Johnny FPV video, he just Matty flipped a hot air balloon.
Oh dude, that was unbelievable. What? I love that video. You didn't watch it?
What?
Yeah, I was gonna say, no, dude, you watch it, you know exactly what we're talking about, dude.
The hot air balloon was dope.
It's so sick. Like slow rolling over this hot air balloon, like looking at the top of it, going over it.
But see, and even a lot of his cinematic footage, he puts it in reverse, but it gives that
it's so
jaw-dropping, stop you in your tracks.
It's more of
oh my God.
It's more of a reveal. It's like, okay, I don't know what's coming. Oh, there goes a tree. There goes a house. There goes some guy. More than rather when you're flying at something, you see it super small far away, and it starts to get bigger. You already know it's there, so the reveal's gone.
Yeah, you're hitting gaps in reverse.
Yeah.
It comes out of nowhere.
Yeah, you just brought up another one right there, man. Speaking of styles, Corey Tapp, dude. Cricket FPV, dude, he actually flies those gaps reverse. Like he's a big one of doing reverse dives
all day
and going backwards down this long, in front of a school or something. They'll have a long awning where the kids wait to get on the bus, and he'll fly all the way reverse down that thing.
Dude.
Sick.
Now that takes. Does it take more skill than racing?
He breaks a lot of stuff. I know that.
I bet.
So yeah, I mean, those are pretty much all the styles. I think there's maybe one more style that I kind of like to do, and I'm sure Scott loves doing it. You love doing it, probably. Everybody does this.
You have to talk about it because it's Steele's expertise, I would say. Proximity.
So yeah, I mean proximity, you fly up all in the trees, you get close to things, you go up close up on buildings, and that's pretty much
where I break my stuff. Swear.
Dude, I feel it. What about you, Dave? You do any little bit of proximity?
I do proximity flying just because I have a backyard and I fly within my trees.
So everybody does it.
Yeah.
It's like catching Pokemon. You gotta catch them all.
I think it's something... Regardless of your flying style or what your objective is, racing or freestyle, you're going to deal with proximity in either trying to get comfortable with your quad and like knowing how it controls and being able to give it those small little inputs to make it jump around, and that throttle management to like be able to carry you safely at a comfortable speed, or at least a speed that you're comfortable with, because I don't want to say comfortable speed, because like I'm sure if I saw even myself flying line of sight around me in orbits, it would make me uneasy too with a 5-inch quad. But I mean, when I'm in control, orbiting, my brother-in-law riding my lawnmower, that's proximity flying. I am no more than like 10 feet away from him and orbiting him in something that could, cut him.
Yeah, no, it could seriously injure him.
I don't know. I do close to fences, concrete,
Scott's
2 inches.
What did Rob used to call you, Danger Boy?
Yeah, and he called us both Danger Boy.
Yeah, we were the Danger Boys. Scott was Danger 1, I was Danger 2.
We got close to everything, but that's what it looks better.
Yeah.
It looks way better.
And is that why Steele's videos just always look so good? Is that he's close to stuff?
Yeah, well, that too.
Or his flying looks so good because he's just so close to stuff, and he's so smooth too.
He is very smooth, and it's danger.
He's good at what he does, man. Flying the same drone basically for 2 years. So I mean, you'll get pretty good if you stay on the same equipment.
2 years. I feel like he's been flying that for
3. The Alien, Alien 5-inch.
No, 2. You were at 2.5, maybe 3. We'll have to call him and ask him.
I'll text him, dude.
Yeah, and find out.
Let me text him.
Yeah.
No, I'm just joking. I don't have his number.
Well,
I could get him on Facebook,
or
Instagram.
Get him on Facebook.
Yeah. How long you been flying that Alien?
Yeah, man.
We'll see if he answers by the time they end of the show.
Yeah, he might.
So, kind of going in, there's a difference in the builds. Definitely for what you're going to build if you want to fly freestyle, or if you want to race. There's vastly different frames. There's different flight controllers. There's different ESCs. There's different ways you're going to tune it. There's different motors, different rates. I mean, there's a plethora of things. So let's just kind of dive in right from the bat. the frames are different. Now, for just a case study, we'll do is the Impulse Alien.
That's like OG 2015
Yes.
that came out, and everybody loves that thing.
But
Still flies it till this day.
But
Yeah.
Kiss is still on point with it. Kiss is it's still the reaction times are.
But that's
wonderful.
flying like kind of like almost like a steel build on it.
Well, Steel, Chad Nowak,
yes.
like there's a lot of guys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people fly. A lot of people own the Alien.
Yeah.
That
Yes.
was like the standard for
Kiss was
ever.
it.
Kiss on
was
the
it.
Alien.
Well, yeah, and then with the PDB that's integrated into the frame.
Yeah.
Now that's something that you're never gonna find in a racing quad. But
No, we have the
It's
Razor.
rare,
Razor
though.
was one.
It's rare.
It's rare.
What else is there? The Helix, but
Vortex.
that's another Vortex.
Vortex.
But that was
PDBs.
like a freestyle /
race.
beginner race.
They thought it was a race quad.
There's a couple, but definitely not as many as you would find on freestyle builds.
no, and I think, but that's something to the beauty of freestyle is they're a little bit more flexible in what you can build. They're larger. The frames are larger. You could put larger components in it. They're easier to work on for like a new quad. You're not trying to build everything on top of each other, or doing tight soldering on small 20x20 boards. You could fly the 30x30.
What was your first build, Dave? What was your first build?
My first build was a QAV 210.
Mine was a ZMR 250, and I thought putting all that stuff inside that 250 ZMR
Was tight.
It was tight, but then you turn around and all you have is a square, maybe 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches on a Razor that you put it all in. And you got this long fuselage on the ZMR, and you can put everything in there, and you're like, where's it gonna go? And you can't get that in there. But then you put it in a little bitty thing for a racer.
And the funny part, though, the better you get with building now, if you build a clean build with a race quad,
Yes.
you're like, dang, I got so much room in here.
Oh yeah,
You know
you're
what I
like, I got more room. Yeah.
No, I mean that's vastly different if you're going to build like a 3-inch squirt or something where you have literally like a 40 millimeter by 40 millimeter cube to put everything you need, including the camera.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
they're actually, I built one of those. They're more room than you think, would imagine.
Well, what size squirt?
But it was the normal Squirt V2 with the 3.5 inch.
Okay, so 3.5 inch. That's the 4-inch motor, the 1806.
You got to cut down the 4-inch props. Yep.
Yeah, and to fit in the ducts. But okay, that one's a little bit
Not,
larger.
I think you're thinking of
You
the
guys-
nutmeg.
the nutmeg.
It's
That's
the
what I was
size
thinking of.
down.
What
yeah.
size did you say that was? 40?
40?
Yeah, you said
40 by 40.
40 by 40.
Oh, 40 by 40.
Mine's
yeah.
my smallest build was 30 by 30. The flight controllers on the standoffs. The Razor. It was.
Oh, I remember the
What
Razor,
size
dude.
prop were you spinning though? Then
5 inch.
5 inch.
Whoa! So they were tied up
And
close to
check
each other.
it was a 190. That's how big it was. 190.
I don't know if people do that anymore too much.
Not too many.
So think of you flown. You actually seen what is the
Micro Ripper.
RC Crease Micro Ripper?
Yeah.
They used to have 5 inches that kind of look like that, like everything in a little pod. In the
Yes.
middle.
Yeah.
I don't think people do that too
Not
much
too
anymore.
many.
No, I saw it when I first started racing. That was like really popular. Was like those tight, and it was right when Truex like started. I wouldn't even say became a thing yet.
Yeah.
But it was like when Truex started, and like, or maybe it was right when like StretchX started splitting off from Truex.
Yeah.
Like, because other than that,
Maybe that's why you don't see it too much anymore. Is because most people fly Stretch X and True X
yeah.
nowadays.
But even back when I started, my first quad was the H almost frame. You know.
That's what
Like,
we were. 210s.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
H.
210
It was
the
the
H. My 250, my SpeedX 250 was an H.
Yep.
And even like the DRL Racer 2 was an H frame.
Yep.
Where now you're looking at everything more like an X.
X
But
to stretch.
even, I mean, the Alien, as we're talking about as a case study, revolutionized that. Was that like, I feel like that lockable 4 arms right in the middle, every single one's the same, interchange them at your own will. If you break them,
It was definitely
pop a
3
new one in.
screws.
that
3
was
screws.
definitely a groundbreaking moment for mini quads in general. There's a couple like big key moments that you're like, wow, okay, this kind of changed the realm of how we do things. And the Impulse RC was the Alien was kind of one of those things, because before that people were doing, bigger quads. They were doing made out of what's that material? The non-conductive material that they used to make frames out of. Hold on, I'll think of it.
Yeah,
most of the frames were made out of like the G10 material or more of a plastic material. Then they started going to carbon with a blackout.
Is that like Delrin?
Yeah, like almost like a Delrin, maybe a little bit more stiff, but it's just non-conductive material. It's like a plastic kind of Delrin type deal.
Okay.
Just stiffer, maybe more brittle. Doesn't have as much give. But then they started. Blackout H quad came in, and then the next big part after blackout H quad was probably a Impulse RC Alien, dude.
But that's when you're
for
talking
freestyle.
Going from
and they were even racing it too.
Interlockable arms and exchangeable arms versus like a single body uniplate bottom.
Or they wouldn't lock. They wouldn't touch the arms. They would have single arms, but it would be like way out at the end of the quad.
Yeah.
It wouldn't meet in an X formation in the middle.
Yeah, and so you had to consistently tighten screws. Even if you Loctited them, they would
consistently.
The torque from the motors would pull it out. But we're in a different ballpark today. I mean, if you're talking
especially with race quads, dude, like compared to a freestyle, like those were mostly, I mean, they would race them back in the day because that's all they had, but the race quads are definitely lightweight. You make them as small as possible. You shave as much weight as possible. You, you do all these
arms change out.
Arms are easily changeable.
When we first started, there was no arms changing out. That was just a regular bottom plate.
Yeah,
you had to change everything.
Is that? I mean, and it came out with that like Alien, but almost it's. I don't think there's a single racing frame that doesn't have interchangeable arms.
I can't think of one.
I mean, I don't even know if there's a freestyle racing frame out there
lately
that's unibody.
I don't.
The Armatan is the Chameleon.
Oh yeah,
the Chameleon is single plate
but
bottom.
I'm trying to think like unibodies that are around today that people kind of. I mean, micros. Sometimes they'll have unibodies.
Yeah, the Gremlin obviously, but
to lose weight, but
you're never gonna break a frame with the weight that's on that quad.
No,
you could
5-inch. I think that's phased out, dude. Seriously, if you guys know of one, leave it in the comments or hit us up on Instagram for sure about that. Like
a racing frame with a unibody design.
I'm drawing a blank right now.
I don't think it happens.
Not at all.
Because you're going to break so many arms, and with racing, that's something that you break a lot of. With freestyle, I mean, sometimes you're falling because you're diving and you don't pull up quick enough, and you slam into the ground from a 200-foot dive. Or I mean, even I'm sure chasing planes, you've hit some stuff going fast that you didn't see. So it's the first thing to go. It's the most fragile part of, I feel like, almost any quad is you have a little tiny bit of carbon fiber out on the end with sometimes holes, you have holes screwed in it for the motor.
Motors, at least.
Yeah.
You got holes for attaching it to the arm. You have holes sometimes in the end of the arm for motor protection. So.
And like that one thing gets caught, the entire inertia and the weight of the quad is against that one spot right on the end. The part that could clip a gate or clip the side of a wall when you're shooting a gap or something, or pop into a tree that you thought you were going to clear wide of. I mean, if you're not just nipping props, but even a nipped prop could send you into the ground and you're going one arm first and then all of the weight is on that one arm against a concrete. So of course you're going to break arms, I guess, flying freestyle. Is it just the weight factor? They could throw 5mm carbon on the bottom plate and just call it a day?
Probably.
That it's just
that's got to be it.
It's going to help the quad fly steadier.
Freestyle guys don't really care if their frame and quad weighs 600 grams.
No,
you're not going to see a racer having a 600 gram quad.
No, and I think that also plays into the setup and the way that you're going to set up the rates too.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, because I'm gonna have a lower rates on my race quad because it takes nothing to throw it around and stuff.
Freestyle for sure, faster rates.
But also when you're flying freestyle, most of the time you're flying a heavier quad. You got a GoPro.
You have to push it harder.
And so throwing that higher rate on it almost translates the same way. I mean, it doesn't translate exactly because of course it's going to feel a little bit differently when you have that stick resolution back and with that stick feel back versus really sending it and having that sensitivity that you get with much higher rates. But when you're flying with something heavy, it definitely dulls that, and it gives you that cinematic feel.
It's got that old school car vibe. It's got that wiggle in the back of it. That's what it feels like. That old
I like
school
that you
car.
say that.
Yes, that old school car where you used to come to that stop with your mom and dad in the car, and that back of the car would just wiggle. That's what your freestyle quad has, the heavy ones.
And even like the ability to like, I mean, even people say throwing the weight around on a quad. So like really throwing the weight of the quad and using the quad's inertia, even with throttle off, just propelling yourself in a direction where, I mean, floatiness, so to speak, quote unquote, is not something that's desired when you're racing. It's a bad characteristic of a racing quad to feel floaty.
Yeah, you want to stay on that line and stick to that line and whip around the corners as fast as possible, but without drifting out.
Tuned to be floaty from even on a heavier quad is desired in freestyle.
Yeah, but you want that momentum to flip you over somewhere.
But even when you're not, it's cool. But even when you're flying your freestyle quad, especially if you're a snappy flyer, when you're you could go to a race and race these guys with the snap because you already know your quad.
Yeah.
But if you're flying one that's really floaty and you don't know it, it's going to change it completely on your racing.
Yeah. But now, can you fly it? Because a lot of times you're talking about camera angle. You're not going to be that well skilled. I mean, depending on your style, obviously Maddie's stunts is going to be very fast.
I can honestly say I was a witness to a guy flying a quad, his freestyle quad, and that's Ian Pataki.
Dude, racing. Dude, I think he might have bumped his camera angle.
He might have bumped his camera angle up a little, but speed.
He made it the top 56 or something.
Yes,
flying a 5-inch alien
against all the super light quads.
Yeah,
and he still made it.
I remember he was like pumped about it.
He was.
And you remember for the longest time that dude used to only race with like 25, 30 degree camera angle.
and he was
like, I love staring at the ground.
Yeah, and he just stayed so close to the ground constantly. Now now he's not doing that.
No, he's
used
running
to
hard
now.
It was crazy, and I was like, "Dude, bump your camera angle." He's like, "No, I like 30."
Yeah,
he's like, "I like staring at the ground, and that's what I'm used to." I guess. Okay.
Well, it's like the box goggles with me and Ian too.
Yeah, Ian.
You told me, "Yo, you need to get these fat sharks. They're wonderful." I'm like, "Man, I'm cool," because I saw the price tag.
Yeah,
that's what it was. I had the box goggles. They cost me $69. I put them together myself, and I was proud of them. But then Matt, he just kept telling me about these fat sharks. I wouldn't put them on. And I refused to put them on.
Dude, I refused for the longest time to put them on because he knew he was going to buy them.
Yeah. As soon as I got a pair, there's no looking back. But it's hard. It's hard when you set in your ways.
Yeah, and I mean, but that's one of the big purchases we've talked about is goggles. It does revolutionize the way that you see when you find a pair of goggles that really fits you, or you just pay the money for a higher quality one. You're probably not going to be all that disappointed. The majority of people, if you're buying a pair of Fat Sharks or Amways or who else makes Sky Zone.
Yes.
If you're buying any pair of expensive FPV goggles, Orca now.
No, yeah, they ain't coming out yet.
No, or Eachine. Eachine makes a pair of like.
Don't mention them. I'm just messing with you. I had to. No, but Eachine, you're right. Dude.
Yeah, they do make the EV100s. I have never tried them, and from what I've heard, they're $100, so you get what you pay for. But that's exactly with goggles. You pay for what you get.
Don't buy the box. Get the Fat Sharks.
And I mean, for some people though, for
straight away, get
recreational.
The Fat Sharks.
But really, for what are you talking? Because I think even for racing, and
I say if you're
freestyle are very different needs. For racing, you want to have that fidelity with other people in the air. Where freestyle, you want that range and penetration through walls.
I say if you're gonna fly FPV and you're gonna fly a quad, get Fat Sharks. I want the box, yes, because it's cheap, and I understand that because I was right there.
It's a large field of view.
But if you want to be agreed.
Give me a high five, man.
But if you want to feel immersed,
because when you got this screen in front of your face and you got this box, you got a lot to look at. When you got the Fat Sharks, you got two lenses you look at. You make one, and you see one picture. And it changes the way you look at stuff. That box, I was looking all over the place. I just
your eyes wander more.
Yeah, they were wandering around.
No, I'll agree with that 100% because when you wear the box goggles, it feels like you're in a movie theater, you're in the back row of a movie theater with a humongous, like an IMAX, a humongous screen. But that's what you got. But where you're in the smaller goggles, where they're not the box style, the more form-fitting, the Fat Sharks, you feel more immersed in the environment, and I think that adds to freestyle and
racing.
Yes,
great point, Dave. But hey, guys, I just want to thank you guys for tuning in again. This one's been wonderful. I appreciate my buddy Scott Heisenberg coming on here.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Appreciate it. And we're going to catch you on the next one. Make sure to like, subscribe, do all the things, and we'll see you later.
Does anybody else in this world feel like me?